Let's get into systems,
Mhm.
because when advisors moved away from a book of business to getting into advisory and focusing on client experience and up and down the family tree in the form of advocacy and continuity and succession, all of that, especially growing up market where the demands of the client are higher because a lot of these clients are business owners, professionals, executives themselves. Talk to me about your eureka moment where you realized systems were key and their impact on enterprise value. So just run with that first.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And thank you for the kind words also. And do remind me at the end some other things we can point out that are free resources for people that can help them. But yeah, I think of the context of that occurred to me after all this time, Duncan, is first to think about the growth of a business, but certainly financial advisory practice in phases. And at each phase, different things are needed. So if I were to just label these myself, this is more the art, but just more from my experience. There's probably 4 of them. And phase 1 to me is pure survival, right? People enter this business with expectations, things like, and it is as much of an art as a science, because a lot of people enter this with the idea of, I want to do this because I've got the heart of a social worker. I want to make a difference in the world, but I've got the mind of a capitalist. I want to earn a lot in how I do it. And as much as we, even when we were in leadership roles, would share the good, bad, ugly, and the lifeboat trails about the swamp you had to go through to get to the island of success and articulate that in some cases, gruesome detail, people still would jump into it. And until you're experiencing it and the amount of rejection and complexity and licenses and all the things, and then all the hats you have to wear, it's overwhelming for a lot. And really, most people initially are in survival mode. So in that stage, you're brought into it believing the opposite of systems. You're basically being taught at that stage, don't focus on all of that. All you have to do is get enough at-bats per week, see enough people while you learn this trade and deliver them value, then take really good care of your clients. So there's not really a systems approach to that initially. It's probably okay, but then the next phase they enter, once they know they're going to survive, they enter what I call the growth stage. They're not really scaling. They're not thinking scaling and building valuation. They're just thinking, I've got to get my income from 100,000 to 500,000 or 500 to 1 million. They're not thinking about systems approach, but this is the stage when they should. And what they should be articulating to themselves and their self-talk and then to their staff is, what are the minimal necessary systems I need to grow, and grow in a way that I deal with the problem. And what's the problem? The problem is people have capacity for X amount of appointments per week. And if you look at the 3 vital statistics of activity times conversion times case size, once you max out on that first one, for most people, there's only so much you can move the other 2. So the wall that advisors hit that causes them to plateau is on their growth is that they can only see or have a willingness to see a certain amount per week. And they can drive conversion up through skill and through lead generation. And they can drive case size by going up market and improving conversion. But at some point, they're going to hit that wall. At the same time in their growth curve, as they hit this wall of the ceiling of complexity, because now they have clients to serve. They've got to do marketing. They've got to get their CEs out of the way. So minimal systems they need in place. The first one is what you refer to, and it has to start there. And it's usually the last one they do. And that's a great client success model, right? It's called a lot of things, but how do I systematize my value proposition with my clients and have enough contact with them, deliver enough value, and demonstrate my values, which is doing what you say, showing up on time, finishing what you start, saying please and thank you. All those are the values of being referable, but you've got to start there and get that wire, including whatever talent you need to pull that off from a staffing perspective. And what systems do you use for all the technology documentation that's required? So that has got to be the first thing at some point that they wire.